What does it really mean to be wealthy? Is it about the flashy cars, designer clothes, or massive homes that we often associate with success? Or is it something quieter, something more lasting? The truth may surprise you. Most millionaires don't live the high life that's portrayed in movies or on social media. In fact, they're more likely to live next door to you, in a modest home, driving a regular car. They've mastered the art of accumulating wealth, not by showing it off, but by quietly building it over time. This is the heart of The Millionaire Next Door by Stanley and William Danko, a book that reveals the surprising secrets of America's wealthy. These millionaires have learned that true wealth isn't about what you earn. It's about what you keep. And more importantly, how you invest it. So, let's dive in and explore what we can learn from these quiet millionaires. And more importantly, how we can apply their lessons to our own lives. First, let's talk about living below your means. Now, we hear this all the time, right? Spend less than you earn. But in practice, this goes deeper than just being frugal. In The Millionaire Next Door, Stanley and Danko show that millionaires often live far below what they could afford. They don't buy flashy cars or upgrade their homes every few years. Instead, they invest their money in assets that will grow over time. Here's a great quote from the book. Being frugal is the cornerstone of wealth building. It's not about deprivation. It's about conscious spending. Every dollar that isn't spent on something frivolous is a dollar that can be invested for the future. And this, right here, is where so many of us fall short. Think about it. How often do we spend money to impress others? To keep up with trends? The millionaires next door understand that wealth isn't about appearances. It's about freedom. Financial freedom comes from having control over your money, not letting it control you. One actionable tip for modern life: automate your savings. In today's world, it's easier than ever to set up automatic transfers from your checking account to a savings or investment account. Treat it like any other bill. Pay yourself first. Even if it's just a small amount each month, it adds up over time. This habit creates a buffer between you and lifestyle inflation, where your expenses grow as your income grows. Another key trait of the millionaire next door is discipline with debt. This might be one of the most important lessons for our generation. In a world where credit is so easily accessible, it's easy to fall into the trap of buying now and worrying later. But the millionaires Stanley and Danko studied, they avoid debt at all costs. Instead of financing a new car or carrying credit card balances, they focus on paying off their debts as quickly as possible. They understand that debt doesn't just cost you money in the form of interest, it costs you freedom. And freedom is what wealth is all about. Now, does that mean you should never take on any debt? Not necessarily. Some debts, like a mortgage or a business loan, can be strategic. But the point is to avoid consumer debt, the kind that doesn't contribute to your long-term financial goals. So how do we apply this to modern life? Prioritize paying off high-interest debt first. Think credit cards or personal loans. Once those are gone, direct the money you were using to pay off debt into investments or savings. Make your money work for you instead of letting it drain away through interest payments. One of the most striking findings in The Millionaire Next Door is how these millionaires build wealth by running unassuming, low-cost businesses. While you might think of millionaires as CEOs of big corporations or Wall Street traders, the reality is quite different. Most of them are small business owners: plumbers, electricians, car repair shop owners, businesses that aren't glamorous, but are incredibly profitable over time. So what does this teach us? You don't need a flashy job to build wealth. In fact, many of the highest earners are in industries that don't require fancy degrees or expensive credentials. They simply focus on providing value and running their businesses efficiently. If you're an aspiring entrepreneur, here's a practical tip. Start small and focus on scaling efficiently. Don't get caught up in the idea that you need to raise a ton of capital or launch the next big tech startup. Focus on providing consistent value, controlling costs, and reinvesting profits. It's the long-term view that leads to sustainable success. Another core idea from The Millionaire Next Door is the importance of investing early and often. Wealth doesn't come from hitting the jackpot on one lucky stock pick. It comes from consistent long-term investing. Take Ronald Read, for example, a janitor and gas station attendant who passed away with over $8 million in his portfolio. How did he do it? By living modestly and investing consistently over decades. His story is a powerful reminder that you don't need a massive income to build wealth. You just need time and discipline. In today's world, there are more ways than ever to get started with investing. You can begin with just a few dollars using apps like Robinhood or Acorns. The key is to get started as soon as possible, no matter how small. The earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. So, here's another actionable takeaway. Automate your investments. Set up automatic contributions to your retirement accounts, whether it's a 401k, an IRA, or a brokerage account. This way, you won't be tempted to spend the money elsewhere, and your wealth will quietly grow in the background. One final trait that sets these millionaires apart is their long-term thinking. They don't just plan for the next few months or years. They plan for the next few decades. This mindset allows them to make decisions based on future benefits rather than immediate gratification. In a world that constantly pushes us to seek instant results, adopting a long-term mindset is a powerful shift. Whether it's with your career, your business, or your finances, always think about where you want to be in 5, 10, or 20 years. To bring it home, the core lessons from the Millionaire Next Door can be summed up in 3 actionable tips for modern aspiring millionaires. Live below your means. Cut unnecessary expenses and invest the difference. Avoid consumer debt. Focus on paying off high-interest debt and avoid financing lifestyle purchases. Start investing early. Time is your greatest asset, and even small contributions add up over decades. Ultimately, wealth isn't about looking rich. It's about building a foundation of financial security and independence. The millionaires next door have mastered the art of living with purpose and intention, and so can you. The next step? Take a good, hard look at your spending and saving habits. Are they aligned with your long-term goals? What small changes can you make today that your future self will thank you for? And remember, the journey to wealth is built one smart decision at a time. The millionaire mindset is available to anyone willing to take action and think long-term. If this resonated with you, take a moment to like, comment, and share your thoughts on how you plan to apply these principles in your own life. And don't forget to subscribe for more transformational insights. And as always, keep books over mind.